Good.
You've got it working down here, will be directly on.
We'll see him if he comes in up here.
That is what it is.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
I'll try to keep an eye on it.
Good afternoon, everyone. The hour is 5:30 on Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. I will now call the Public Works and Service Committee meeting to order. Mr. Fritschloff, may we have roll call, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Alder Jones,
Present.
Alder Jarrett,
Present.
Alder Sebastian,
Present.
Alder Mack, excused. Alder Perez. Like to do anything with him? I guess he's here. Good.
Can you hear us? The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes for our May 28th, 2024 meeting.
So, second.
Motion by Alder Sebastian, second by Alder Jarrett to approve the minutes for May 28th. Any questions, corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our first item on the agenda is 0569-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Jane Kern, Racine Arts Guild, to close off Wisconsin Avenue from Dakota Avenue to Ron Butler Drive to Roosevelt Park Drive from 5:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. and from 4 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. on August 4th for the annual Starving Artist Fair at the DeKoven Center. Staff recommendation that we do the closures and be approved per the attached stipulation. We have with us this afternoon Mrs. Herring, who will speak on the item.
Just wanted to say thank you for doing this the last 3 years at DeKoven. It really helps with the safety for unloading and then reloading with all of our artists. We have 130 artists. So that's a lot of vehicles moving around DeKoven and outside. And it's worked really well. The only thing that we asked in addition this year is one more set of barricades. Just to, because it's kind of a double street on the south side.
Correct.
So, thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions from committee members? Any questions, Alder Perez?
No, ma'am. No.
A motion is in order.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Alder Jarrett, second by Alder Sebastian to approve item 0569-24. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Our next item is 0560-24. Communication sponsored by Mayor Mason on behalf of Downtown Racine Corporation requesting permission to close Main Street from State Street to 7th Street, 6th Street from Lake Avenue to Grand Avenue, and Wisconsin Avenue from 4th Street to 7th Street for party on the pavement on September 21st, 2024, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that the downtown on-street meter parking be free for this event. Staff recommendation that permission be granted to the Downtown Racine Corporation close Main Street from State Street to 7th Street, 6th Street from Lake Avenue to Grand Avenue, and Wisconsin Avenue from 4th Street to 7th Street. The party on the pavement on September 21st, 2024, from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that the downtown on-street metered parking be free for this event and per the attached stipulation. Physical notes, there will be nominal cost to the various city departments on a regular shift basis to assist in implementing this event. Mr. Fritschloff.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff has reviewed this request. It is an annual request. No changes from last year's approval. They're asking for essentially the same thing. and we would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions from committee members? Seeing none, then a motion is in order.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion, excuse me. Motion and second to approve item 0560-24. Seeing no questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes. Our next item is 0443-24. Mitigation sponsored by Alderman Carter requesting use of wastewater utilities interceptor by Caledonia during repair of Caledonia East Force Main. Recommendation approval with the referral to the Public Works and Service Committee. We have Mr. Tillis from the wastewater department to speak on this item.
Good evening, and thank
Good
you
afternoon.
to speak today. So this is the agreement basically between the city and the village of Caledonia. They need to do some repairs on their force main that runs through the city. They're going to be bypassing a section of their pipe. And to get at this equipment, there's air release valves. They're going to divert some of their flow into a nearby utility pipe. This agreement basically holds the city harmless if there happened to be some type of accident or spill that would happen during this maintenance activity. And all of the costs and fines would be attributed to the village of Caledonia, and the city will be held harmless.
Questions from committee members? Alder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Do they have a timeline of how long they will need this interceptor? Like the repairs, do they have a timeline of how long that repair will take?
So I think the repair, I think they have it scheduled, and it will kind of depend on the weather, because that depends on what kind of flow we get. But the number, I think there's 3 valves, so I think it's gonna be 3 different shutdowns, and I think each one is a day or 2.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions from committee members?
I just wanted to ask you 3 how we have no issues with that. Everything's good.
If I may, Madam Chair, as I understand it, this had to go through a standing committee to get the proper city official signatures, and Scott Lefty, I think, can speak to that. Otherwise, Public Works Department really has no dog in this fight, so to speak.
The real issue, frankly, for you and the common council is this intergovernmental agreement, the whole harmless agreement between the city and Caledonia. Only municipalities can enter into these kinds of agreements. That's why it's here. Normally, if it was a wastewater project, you would proceed. But I reviewed this agreement. It's fine. It shifts all burdens, costs of Caledonia, which is what.
If Caledonia needs to do any work in the public right away, they'll go through the normal permitting process like anyone else would, and we would review that and allow them to do the work if they go through the proper process.
Any further questions? Seeing none, motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alder Sebastian.
Hard to do that.
Alder Harry. Seeing no further questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you, Mr. Tillis. Item is 0511-24, communication sponsored by Alderman McCarty to discuss a development of a special block. A speed block policy, excuse me. Commissioner Mooney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So back in 2023 budget, funds were appropriated by common council for the installation of speed humps. Monies were appropriated. There was really no program put in place. Policy, it was just monies were put aside. So I was asked by the mayor and city administrator to develop a policy or procedure by which speed bumps should be considered to be installed. I developed this procedure a year ago, last spring, 2023, and sent it down to the mayor and city administrator's office. been a long time coming, I think, coming for committee, at least get some discussion on it. Essentially, I put this procedure together based on about 8 different municipalities that I researched across the country, including Milwaukee, Buffalo, New York. I looked at policies on the West Coast. Some are as thick as a telephone book, some are very simple. I wanted to start with something simple. I'm going to preface this discussion by saying I don't know if you should dive right in and approve what's in front of you tonight, but you may want to consider it, think about it, table it, talk with your fellow alders, come up with ideas, edit suggestions, and you can bring it back. We can bring it back next month. I don't think we meet for another 4 weeks. But essentially, what I had prepared for consideration was something to try to keep requests in check a little bit here. I think without a proper policy or procedure, requests for speed humps are going to become runaway. Something that if there's not a policy or procedure in place, it will go unchecked. And whatever we wind up doing in public works, whether we're installing temporary or permanent speed humps, it costs real money, and nothing that we do is inexpensive or free. So I think this helps create some cost control and also control as to how these things get evaluated and put in for real reason and purpose, as opposed to saying, I live here, I want one in front of my house. So it's a blend of basically some types of evaluations that we look at. It would start with a request by someone. We'd want that request in this procedure to be accompanied by someone else who lives on that block. So it isn't just being requested by the squeaky wheel who just wants the oil. I can go through this. I don't know if you had a chance to review it. Part of that is an in-house evaluation. I've looked at a lot of things that other municipalities are doing to determine whether a location is appropriate for a speed hump. We look at some of those things are mostly geometric in nature, type of facility that the road is, see if it even is appropriate to have a speed hump installed. And I can get into that in just a second. Next, we follow up, obviously, with the traffic study, a pre and a post study. You want to evaluate if there's a speeding problem, see if one actually exists. Some people think there's a speeding problem. They see one speeder go down the street. That doesn't constitute a speeding problem. But we can do data collection and determine whether it truly is. PD can provide us data. Engineering department can provide us data. We have standards that we look at, determine if there's a speeding problem based on the data that PD can give us and based on the data that we can collect with the engineering department. So that's obviously one of the tests. If there is a speeding problem, then we can put temporary speed humps in. What we did last year in 2023 is we ordered 5 speed humps. We ordered 4 typical city street speed humps and then 1 for like a smaller width road, like a park road. Like right now we're piloting, we're trying one out in Island Park, kind of by the new dog park that they have there, right there. So we want this little narrow that fits like a park type road. So we ordered those. We only got 1 in last year. There was a lot of supply chain issues. So we installed it on Michigan Boulevard. We basically were looking at some requests from the police department. We wanted to keep this out of just anybody requesting without a policy. So the mayor said until such time we get a policy approved, why don't you work with traffic investigators over at Racine Police Department? And we got a couple locations. Michigan Boulevard was one on the radar, so we put one in there last year. We collected pre-installation data to see if there actually was an issue, and then we collected post data. We got the other ones in late in the season. We had enough time to get one in over by Lathrop Avenue, and that was it. We couldn't get any more in last year because these are seasonal installations. So this spring, again, without a policy, we followed up on that list by the police department. There were several locations they wanted us to look at, and we started getting some more in per that list. So again, we had a policy approved, we had some problems with some of the ones that we actually had and never put in with parts on it, they had to get sent back. We're waiting those to be replaced, and then we actually ordered some more. So we have some more on hand, so we can get these put out there and we can check areas, so we don't have to wait so long. Because, we got a pre-study, put it in, let it sit there a while, collect data while it's in there, and then you can't really move it to another patient to the studies done. So we bought some more with monies appropriated in 2024. We also bought equipment for collecting speed data. This is engineering department data. This is those pneumatic, like black little tubes that stretched across the road. They count traffic, they count speed, they do a number of things. So we bought more of those units and the data collectors that go with it. It's just pneumatic, car drives over them, this displaces air, we collect all the data. And it's pretty simple to use and easy to move around. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We've got, 3 or 4 locations going right now. They're we're collecting data, the post data on those. So the traffic study again is something that we do. And then, the other thing in here is consideration of some other factors perhaps that we should, beyond some of the traffic volumes that we should be looking at and beyond maybe the speed, that may be something that say, yeah, we ought to look at putting a speed hump in here. Something that maybe doesn't meet a warrant or a guideline that we have in here. The last part of this then would be if the speed hump is actually making a difference. It really is an appropriate application and it is shown to reduce speeds. Then, part of this is getting a plurality of the citizens who live on that street to say, yeah, I want, one person may want this in, but everybody may hate it. And, and I think when I've looked at most policies and procedures out there, there is a petition to make sure that, because I think they've historically have gone through these things and said when most of the residents don't want it, they wound up having to go in there and remove those. And guess what? That costs time and it costs money. So I think that's something, again, these are things that I think based on all the information I got that I thought would be appropriate to put in a policy. Anecdotally, we don't put every other municipality is pretty much on board. We don't put them in alleys. We don't put them, within a certain distance of an alley. We definitely want to keep these things as a test pilot to put them in and check as seasonal. We want to do these, between April and get them out by November. If in fact we want to put in permanent speed humps, they can be engineered as permanent installations. But these speed humps, if you've seen them in any of your districts or driven around town, they're not permanent. They are essentially anchored in, they're drilled in, they have little anchor bolts, little epoxy. They're kind of put together like jigsaw puzzles. They're not to be plowed over. So we can build in permanent speed humps. Now, again, that's something that you're going to have to weigh on how you want to fund that in the future. So a speed hump, it could be retrofitted in. So say you find a street that was built 20 years ago and it's still in fine shape. We don't have any plans for it. There's ways we can retrofit in a permanent speed hump. It's engineering work with pavement. If it's a street that a speed hump is also needed on, that's going to be, say, rebuilt in the city engineer's 5-year capital improvement plan, we'll just include it in the construction. It's really probably not much of a difference just paving it. Putting the speed up as much. So those are ways to do that. There is nothing in this policy at all or procedure about assessments. A lot of municipalities, including Milwaukee, they assess for traffic control for these types of devices. So I'm just going to make up a number. If the speed hump costs $10 to put in and there were 10 lots and they all had equal frontage, they'd all have to pay a lot to have it put in. Yeah, because again, maybe this is something you want to make sure is budget neutral, So these are things you're going to have to consider moving forward. I'll go through some of the items, on the procedure here. Again, as soon as I go through them or ask me questions, discuss amongst yourselves. Feel free to get a hold of me anytime. If you table this, We have 4 weeks to the next meeting, but these are the things that I think are appropriate. So anyways, the speed hump procedure to test them would be seasonal. It'd be between April 1st and November 1st for obvious reasons. You know, we're pretty much done with snow and ice by the end of March. We can put these out there if we get some data collected and get enough information and get them removed before November 1st. So basically, the 5 points that are in this procedure is: 1 is a letter of interest, 2 is an in-house evaluation of street functional classification and geometric features. Number 3 is a traffic study, collecting and evaluation of traffic volume and data. I'll go over that. 4, consideration of other factors, and 5th, receipt verification of petition. And I started with 2/3 of the property owners. It's very common. Some are just simple majority, but nearly every one of these that I looked up requires a petition, just so you're aware. So the first would start with the letter of request and send that into the Commissioner of Public Works with a co-signer, somebody else who lives in the block. Okay, pretty simple, number 1. The second is in-house evaluation. So we'd like to be able to screen these requests that come in just to get some of these right out of the way right away. Because certain streets are just not candidates for speed humps. So the candidate streets must be classified as a local street. And that's part of the Federal Highway Administration's functional classification system. So there's basically like 4 types of roadways: a local street, a collector, an arterial, and a highway. Okay. So as you can imagine, local street means your neighborhood street. Right outside our door windows here, that's a highway. Ohio Street, arterial. Collector Street, like the Erie Street, say on the north side, the far north side. You know, it's functional. So these should really be placed on local streets, okay? Because the higher class streets serve buses and other type of vehicles that just aren't good bedfellows with speed humps. Particularly, you know, fire trucks generally stay on the arterial collector routes until they get to their final destination. We don't want speed humps slowing down, you know, public safety vehicles, things like that. So, so we want to make sure that they're put on a local street. The second, the street should be primarily residential. Okay, so like at least 50% of the street frontage being residential. So we piloted one on Michigan Boulevard that met it, right? Half, you know, the west side of the street's all residential, the east side's a park. Again, all these things, you know, you want to consider amongst yourselves and see if you think these things are important or not important. The street must not be on a primary or routine emergency vehicle route. Again, I just said, you know, we don't want them when they're coming out of fire station number 2 or something, that speed humps there slow them down when they get out of the gate. You know, for hospitals, fire stations, police stations are used to look at that. If the street is on a bus route for ride, we could potentially look on that because some buses may go down a street that's functionally classified local. There are speed cushions that could potentially be used. Speed cushion essentially is like a speed hump goes across the entire road. A speed cushion has little notches in it, so buses can just traverse it without having to slow down. Kind of a unique installation, but something we're going to have to consider. Could be speed humps or nothing at all. And then you know, as far as geometrics, we want a minimum distance of 600 feet between existing stop signs for traffic signals. You know, streets with many stop controls would already cause the slowing of the traffic at intersections. Not necessarily slow traffic between the controls, but so we want to make sure that, you know, we aren't putting speed humps on a road that's super short, right? So it needs to have a little distance to it. You know, and as we all know, stop signs and yield signs, their signals are there to assign right away. They're not really there to controls. So then next we look at a traffic study. So we want to go out there. Generally, we could do this all in-house. We don't need police department resources to do this, but they have them if we need them. We put the pneumatic tube counters out there. And we want to check a couple things. We want to check volume and we want to check speed, right? So if again, let's look at other municipalities. If the street has a ADT of less than 300 vehicles a day, there's no one going down that street other than the people who go in and out of their driveway, or that is super low volume. It's truly residential, and that's something we would say no to. Now, the street has between 300 and 1,500 vehicles a day. And, you know, we got some, again, this is some data that I've looked at from across the board. And you have 40% of the traffic in at least one direction is traveling at or above the posted speed limit. And on a street with something greater than 1,500, at least 50, we would consider that street. Okay. If the same type of ADT volumes, if we find out with a pre-study that 85th percentile speed is 35 miles per hour in one direction, again, this is something that we would consider. If it's between 1,500 or above 1,500 ADT, 40 miles per hour. So what is the 85th percentile speed? That's 85 out of every 100 drivers are driving that speed or less. Okay, so 15% of that driving population is going over 35 and 6 or going over 40. That's identifiable as a speeding problem. Now, PD provides us data, and generally what they provide us is the data that they collect. If they've got 3% of the traffic volume traveling 11 miles per hour or more, that's also recognized as a speeding problem. So this is data that we look at and say, yeah, speeding problem. No, no speeding problem. Whether you think it's a speeding problem or not, the data doesn't support it. So again, this helps us weed out some of these requests, right? So you just don't do these and put them in for no real reason. Again, we want to make sure we have some safe stopping sight distances at these speed humps. So it's again, you know, this geometric stuff. Do we have enough room? Have at least 150 feet? You know, it's safe stopping distance. It's just your perception and reaction time and braking time to make sure there is no issue with the speed hump in the way. We'll do that post study. It'll take, you know, generally it'll take a minimum of 2 months. We got to collect enough data to make sure we understand the data, you know. So that's that. Again, if the Kennedy Street doesn't meet the above traffic and volume requirements, Commissioner of Public Works should deny the request for the speed hump. Okay. Now, consideration of other factors. Again, if the street meets the above requirements, the last evaluation considered is a consideration of other factors which could further support or detract the Kennedy Street. History of crashes documented by the Racine Police Department, clearly related to speeding, adequate street lighting, drainage, and then other factors deemed appropriate by the Commissioner of Public Works. So these are other things we could factor in regards to whether a speed hump is an appropriate installation at that location. So if the technical factors are met and they want a speed hump put in now, say, hey, it meets it. We did the post study. It's definitely has lowered the speed limit. It's been effective. If you wanted it, then get 2/3 of the people on your street to sign a petition, and then we'll put it in the budget for the following year, and then we'll get it built in. Okay, provided you guys provide, the common council provides funding. So again, this is something to say, this actually everybody want this, you know, because it's going to be built permanently. It's going to cost money. So that would show, you know, the alders that those folks on that street are in support. They want to see this done. So that would be something that I would recommend at some level. You have some type of petition that says, yeah, the plurality of people living on this block are in support of this installation. It'll probably save you a lot of phone calls and headaches. And then maybe having to go out and rip these things out because, you know, 2 people wanted it and the other 30 on the street really aren't happy with it. So, and if we do get a lot of these, then we could, you know, rank these, you know, the worst speeding problem ones that we find, those that go to the top of the list. And, you know, they're all speeding problems, but the ones that are the most severe, we could rank them depending on how much budget Common Council provides us for installation. So, this is a draft procedure policy. I can answer any questions. I understand if you don't have a lot of them right now formulated because you just heard this, great. But it's in your court as to what you want to do with this and how you want to shape this.
I know Arthur has his hand up. I just have a quick question for even for the
I know this is just a draft, like anticipating as far as petition, do you guys have a form for that, or just like, you can write up a letter and everyone else, 2/3 of the people, the residents on that street, will just sign their name to it, and we just did turn it in that way?
Yeah, it would be, I don't think we're gonna make it too onerous or difficult or too, if somebody submits a request and they have a co-signer, we make sure that those people actually live on the block. That would start the process. That's good. Once we get in there, and let's say that it made it all the way through, we would ask that, you know, it's whatever that percentage number the common council wants, let's say it's 2/3. We would verify it. Does it have to be in our form? Can it be somebody going around with the, you know, with loose leaf
Yeah.
paper, a notebook, gathering signatures? We will verify that, make sure that those folks are A, affirmative, and B, they actually live there. And once then we would say, okay, we'll plan on getting that one put in. And when we get these, we'll figure out how many are ready to be permanently installed. Put a budget number together, we'll put it in the fall budget for you to consider for the next year. We'll do this every year as long as the program exists.
Thank you. Alder Perez.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, so Commissioner, I have a couple questions for you. Do we currently have 5 of those speed bumps in possession? Is that what you said?
we have 5, we have, I think, 3 of them installed right now, and we're doing, 2 of them are being replaced by the manufacturer because they have defective parts to them. And then we've got more ordered, but I don't think they're gonna get here until, we ordered them a month and a half ago and they're 3-4 months out. So they don't, my family won't get here till the end of summer. I think when we're all said and done, Alder Perez, we'll have, I believe, 10 movable speed humps in our possession. 8 of them of the city streetwide size and 2 of them for more park road size.
Have those 10 already been approved in the budget?
Yes, that was the ones, the 5 we bought last year, the 2023 budget, along with the speed collection data, the tools that we had to get for DPW to install and remove these things. And then the other 5, we had money in the budget this year, were paid for with that money that was appropriated in the budget.
So
We have no plans to put in any permanent speed humps at all until we get something that gives us direction.
okay, so let me follow up with a couple of things. You mentioned that you would probably recommend that we table this and discuss it amongst ourselves. But that is illegal. We can't do that. So the recommendation would be to forward it to a request for a committee of the whole, because it not only is it a budget consideration, but speeding is a problem in everybody's district and everybody's going to have an issue with it. You also said that you had to review policies throughout the country on what they were doing to come up with the recommendations for today. So can the policies be completely changed via request of the council? For example, you mentioned a bunch of things going on to do. What if the council just says, no, we want to do, 2 in District 4, 4 in District 2, and move them off like that every quarter? Is that something that we have the purview to do within the policy that you're proposing?
Let me back up a couple things here. First, if when I say talk amongst yourselves, if you're looking at this in the next couple of weeks or whatever, if you want to do a committee of the whole, absolutely, Public Works staff will be there to provide information to all the alders about what this procedure is. We could have an open discussion again next meeting. However you want to get the information to each other or have staff, Alder Perez, we will do it however you want. So I'll put that aside for now. Insofar as what you were discussing, does the alders want to change this? And every aldermanic district gets 2 speed humps. The Common Council can do whatever it chooses to do, and Public Works Department we'll execute that plan. I'm trying to provide some guide rails, some bumpers on this, so there is some control of requests that come in. Because I think without the appropriate controls, the alders are gonna be inundated with requests, and so is DPW staff. And if there are no measures put in place to control how many get installed, this could be a very expensive endeavor for the city of Racine to get involved with. But then again, if if you want to appropriate $500,000 a year, and put speed humps in from the north to the south end of the city, from Lake Michigan all the way up to Green Bay Road, that is your prerogative. If you want to put them in where speeding problems truly don't exist, that's your prerogative. This is information that I gleaned from many other municipalities where they've been through these discussions. They're trying to put some tools in place. So these do get put in where they're effective. They do get put in as to not break the budget, so to speak. They do get put in with, I think, a plurality of consent from the people who've got to go up and down that street every day to work or take their kids to school or the grocery store, that this is something that they want. So I think there's a lot of things that you can consider in here, change certain requirements. But I would exercise caution when you guys have those discussions, because if there isn't any real guidelines for putting these in, I think it's going to be an overwhelming program for the city to manage, and that's my opinion.
Right. So you also mentioned that in your recommendation that if a speed bump went into a certain area, the neighbors would be assessed a fee to put that in there. So that would affect the budget, as well as maybe even have to have a public hearing about it. And so I think it's much more significant that the whole council participate in this, just not our committee. Because if we, first of all, like I said, we can't discuss it amongst ourselves. But if we get an information package of maybe the information you've recommended sent to all the alders, and we move this to our recommendation from our today would be to forward this to the committee of the whole. And I think that would be more appropriate, because you're talking assessments, you're talking something that's affecting all of the districts. And it's something that's going to be very, as you've seen now, controversial, with people wanting speed bumps or not wanting speed bumps in their area. You also talked about specific areas that would prohibit its use, for example, in front of the hospital or in front of the fire station. Now, are you talking from the Uniform Traffic Code, or are those just common sense recommendations?
Those are coming from what I have seen in other policies that I researched regarding speed humps, that these are not appropriate installations. If you want to put a speed hump in front of a fire station or on the route to the hospital, you could certainly do that if you put that in your policy. But you'd have to understand, if there are consequences from that, then the common council and the ones that approved it will have to take ownership in that decision. Again, we will follow whatever policy or procedure is approved by the common council. I don't put these guidelines in here to be difficult or problematic. I'm trying to put them in there to provide some type of control. Again, in this procedure, there's no recommendation or any instruction at all, or guidelines regarding an assessment policy. That is a whole nother discussion that I think is very valuable to have, Alder Perez. So I think that would be an appropriate recommendation. Maybe it could be scheduled for September. We could get information, to the committee of the whole then, and we could digest that and get that conversation going for the fall budget discussions. And maybe, again, it's up to the alders. Do you want to jump in with the full-blown assessment probably not, but that's up to you. Maybe you want to appropriate a little bit of money to put in some permanent ones that pass the test. And then we'll see how big of maybe you'll find out that so many of these pass the test. Now you're trying to figure out how do we fund this as a common council? And then that's where you maybe say, maybe we need to come up with a policy on how to pay for these things. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I knew it was going to be a big conversation, probably greater than this committee, but thanks to Alder McCarthy, the conversation has started.
Okay, so is there a prohibition from state highways, and you mentioned some of the arterials and so forth? Are there prohibitions from putting them on state highways?
Yeah, without question, Wisconsin Department of Transportation has guidelines that we must adhere by in the Facilities Development Manual. And even though these are connecting highways in the city of Racine, meaning we have permitting authority and maintenance responsibility, and WSDOT does not. They are still state highways and they have to function as such. And if the DOT prohibits speed humps put on highways, the city of Racine would not be able to allow those to be installed. So, and again, I think what I've brought before you, what I've researched, speed humps on highways, they have no place there. They just don't. They're functionally classed to carry a high volume of traffic. They're multi-lane facilities. They travel at higher speed limits. So this is really about neighborhood traffic calming. And I would like to think if you put some types of traffic control measures in place to calm traffic in neighborhoods, it works itself. It's like its own built-in enforcement. And then maybe, PD could, and again, it's up to Chief Ramirez and his team, they can divert their resources and put them on those highways, or, instead of chasing down miscellaneous neighborhood speeding problems, and put those resources on those arterials, those highways, those higher functioning streets that have higher volume and higher traffic speeds.
So what are the possibilities that rumble strips be applied in some of the areas as opposed to speed bumps?
Yeah, rumble strips are completely different device. They're longitudinal, and they're to separate lanes of traffic, bi-directional lanes of traffic. That's the installation of a rumble strip. And either rumble strips are starting to go away, even with WSDOT in the Facilities Development Manual. They're starting to get away from those. So rumble strips, the speed humps are designed specifically to do their job. A rumble strip is something completely different. So the geometrics of a speed hump, the length of them, the width of them, the angle that they go up on, the thickness of them, they're all designed to make that vehicle porpoise if it hits it and goes over it above a certain speed limit. So speed bumps, like you see like in a Kohl's department store parking lot, do very little. You can drive right over them as fast as you can.
They're just right for track.
Yeah, they'll probably, to the city engineer's comment, mess up with your suspension, but they're not going to slow you. You go over a speed hump exceeding the speed limit that they're designed for, that vehicle is going to feel it. So that's why we follow the dimensions for the speed humps that we would put in, whether they are temporary, which we have now, or whether we put them in permanent. Another reason we want to keep them to local streets and smaller width streets, the wider the street, the speed hump, especially the temporary ones we have, the vehicles, if you can't cover the entire roadway out to the curb line, they'll just go around the speed hump. So even in some areas where we've been piloting them with our temporaries, we're putting barricades on each side. Otherwise, if a car's not parked there, they'll just drive around it and go as fast as they can. So we recognize these things, and we're trying to make sure that you have all this information when we have this discussion. And we'll be glad to have it with any forum that you desire.
I fully Why?
Madam Chair, based on the information that the commissioner has provided, understanding that this is much greater than a committee decision, I would recommend that the commissioner provide the information that he has provided to us today to all of council, and that we not table this, but send it forward to the committee of the whole for proper discussion. Because as the commissioner mentioned, he talked about assessments, he talked about the streets that need to be done, how it's supposed to be done, uniform traffic code. It's really much bigger than just a decision that we should be able to make today just as a committee, because it will affect every district. Not only that, it's important, since we can't really discuss it legally amongst ourselves because it's something that we vote on, which would be a walking quorum. We can't do that. So it has to be expressed in a bigger forum. And I think that the urgency is not really there, because he said that in a month or for the budget, we have implemented some, we have some that we're going by guidelines, but we really want to have a solid plan in place, like he said, so that we know what we're doing as we move forward. We're getting 10 speed bumps as it is right now. And so I think it's important that we, as not just as a committee, but as a whole council, decide on the best way, the best reasons for this. So I make a motion that we move this to committee of the whole.
Is there a second on Alder Perez's motion?
Madam Chair, I think, Sebastian, did you have a question?
Yeah, I
That
have
is
a-
cool.
So, one comment and one question. I mean, and I will, as you had commented, I know in my district, the number one call I get is self-speed. So I really appreciate that. And I'm sure everyone's kind of tired of it. And it's funny, I was out of the country. They had them everywhere. There were no stop signs. They were everywhere. It's like, oh, I guess that's how they, police that. What is the average cost per?
Well, I think for budget purposes, so these units themselves, the temporary ones, I don't remember off the top of my head. They're like $8,000, depending on the size of
And
them.
that's just material.
That material stuff, but the permanent installations, I had Era's city engineer staff run some estimates. I think we were looking at upwards on the high end of about $15,000 to retrofit in. So if that street right there, you wanted to put a speed hump in, we aren't rebuilding it. We wanted to cut the pavement, mill it, butt joints, put it in. About 15,000 on the high side. Now, if we blend them in with a paving job, could be cheaper. So that was a ballpark number that we came up with last year, thinking that maybe they're going to talk about a policy last year. Maybe we'd have this in place this year. So I think that's a fair number right now to start with. Yeah.
And then my next
That's
question
a permanent
is
installation. Yeah.
similar to with the alley assessing. There was an opportunity for the alders to potentially suggest an alley, if I remember correctly, as opposed to just a resident. Would that be something that we could work in here? Is that, an alder could possibly suggest as well?
It's entirely
It's
up
up
to
to-
the common council what they want to put in this, if you want to, make it so alders can make requests and not just a resident with a backup resident making a request, I mean, I don't want to be coy when I say this, but alders come and go. People who live on the street are there for perhaps years and
Right.
decades and stuff. So, but if you want to put that in there, you could. And again, the assessment policy is void. There's no assessment. It's just something that other municipalities do. And it's say in a committee of the whole discussion that they say, we'd like you to come up with some ideas on how to do this. That's something, again, we could go work on that. If the common council directs us or the committee will direct us to do it, then we could bring that information back. I know this is a big topic. There's a lot of different things we can consider, or you can consider, I should say.
Then my next question is, you said perhaps when you kind of threw out September, will you have data from the ones that have been installed already?
We've got the data from the two we put in last year.
Okay,
And the one on Michigan Boulevard, for example, definitely is a candidate for permanent speed hump.
mhm,
The one we put on Lathrop, that is a little bit on the border there.
mhm.
Very interesting on Michigan Boulevard, the volumes really aren't that high, neither are the speed limits
But they-
in the spring.
Yeah, we took.
You know,
Two
from the
counts.
fall to the spring.
Mhm.
So we took two sets of traffic counts there. So we did it like in late April or early May, and then we did it in June when the beach is open.
Mhm.
And the volume goes through the roof
Yeah.
and so does the speeding.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you gotta think, there's seasonal traffic on certain streets, so, you know, are speed humps necessary on Michigan Boulevard in December? No,
Right.
but I'm telling you, they're a very valuable resource, and it showed in
In July.
reducing speed, yeah, in July. So these are things that, again, that's why we take the data, we make sure we take it enough to make sure that we're gathering the right information. And then collect the post data to make an effective determination whether they're effective or not.
Thank you.
Alder.
But I would second, Alder Perez's motion that we forward this to the committee of the whole, but before you can I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
Just want to thank, Commissioner Rooney and the department for actually getting us started on this. I do like the part, especially the letter of request, because it puts the power back in the residents' hand. We come and go, as you stated, but they live there for 20, 30 years. 30 years, a very long time. So just thank you for getting this started, because we did a lot of research obviously on this, and if other alders think that they can do additional research and pad it some more, then that's totally fine. After the committee of the whole, then we can discuss it at the committee of the whole and just bring it back. So I do second, Alder Perez's, motion. I just wanted to make sure that the department knows that we do appreciate it, because we do get calls about this, and this is the starting point to kind of like rack and stack where these actually need to go in the city.
And just to follow up on your comment, I apologize. Gosh, I forgot what I was gonna say in a moment. Never mind, keep going.
Second the motion.
Yeah.
Okay. Attorney Letton, did he make that motion again since we had a discussion and it wasn't second?
No, I think it's formally, it's a motion to refer
It-
an item to.
Right. Okay.
Did remember what I was gonna say, going back to the point where some residents have lived there 30, 40, 50 years, I have a lot of elderly residents, and I think that this could be challenging for them, so that's why I was asking about the alder fee scheme.
Maybe you can help them out.
Right, that's kind of
Yeah,
what I
and
was.
we don't wanna
that's what
make
I was
this
referring to.
onerous with us, like an application, we think a simple
Right.
letter with a cosigner, and then if we get it started,
Mhm.
and then if you wanna do something on the back end, like a plurality, they can
Well,
go
they
around and
do.
get their own petition, just like they do for public hearing. We don't
Yeah.
require them to come up with a special form. They come right in and we look at it, review it, so.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Bridgeloff, did you get all the Perez's motion?
I
Does he
did.
need to repeat it again?
No, I have it right here.
Okay.
Yep, okay, thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Our next item is 0572-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Department of Public Works seeking these results. Contract 2024165 sidewalk replacement. Recommendation that the contract for the sidewalk replacement be awarded to A.W. Oaks and Son, Inc. in the amount of $809,000, $83.36, they being the lowest responsive bidder. Physical note funding is available in the following objects: sidewalk assessment and sidewalks. Engineer Molander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As stated, we received bids on July 3rd for contract 2024165, the 2023 sidewalk replacement, and submit the results for your approval. We received 3 bids. A.W. Oaks was the apparent low and responsible bidder at $1,083.36. We also received bids from Forward Contractors and Alon Contractors, Inc. Our estimate for this project was about $900,000. This does qualify for Racine Works program. And we recommend that, the contract be awarded to A.W. Oaks based on their bid results.
Thank you. Questions from committee members? Seeing none, a motion is in order. So
Move to approve.
is there a second? We'll take, Alder Sebastian as the second. Motion by Alder Perez, second by Alder Sebastian, that item 0572-24 be approved. If no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. The next item on our agenda is 0573-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Department of Public Works, submitting bid results for contract 202-4068 downtown lighting improvement. Staff recommendation that the contract for downtown lighting improvement be awarded to Will Third Electric, Inc. in the amount of $98,118.40. They being the lowest responsive bidder. Physical note funding is available in Board Objects 45040 57520 GOB streetlights. Engineer Mollinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As stated, we've received one bid for the 2024 downtown decorative lighting replacement project. Will Surge has done the previous two installations of this project. They are also the only bidder on this one at $98,118.40. They are slightly higher than our estimate at $86,000. We kind of expected this when they warned us that they weren't making money on the first two, not our problem. But anyways, this is what we came up with or resulted in. We still recommend that we award the project to Will Surge Electric based on the bid results.
Thank you. Any questions from committee members? Seeing none, motion is in order.
Second.
Move to approve by Alder Barrett, second by Alder Sebastian to approve item 0573-24. Seeing how no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Our next item is 0574-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Department of Park, Recreation, and Cultural Services, submitting bid results for contract 202-4075 Western Museum renovation. Staff recommendation to receive and file. We have with us Mr. Chris Foster to speak on the item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We only received one bid on this project, and it was approximately $217,000, I believe, if that's my recollection. And the estimate for the project was $77,000. So we are not electing to take that down. So we'll hopefully rebid in the future.
Was this the one that came up before?
This has
They
been,
didn't have
I believe
any
it's
bids?
third time we haven't had any success. In contact with a couple of contractors that if we go a fourth time, possibly I can get some success in next one.
Is there a reason that they are so much higher than what you had estimated?
I believe that the timing of the bidding and the scope of the work, it's a lot of time consuming effort and not knowing once you get into something, what's going to be up there. It's kind of hard to determine a flat rate on how to get this job done. So I think a lot of contractors are weary about doing that. So I think that's the major issue with this contract right now.
What Can you tell us what exactly they will be doing? That maybe they're a little bit
it's-
apprehensive about.
It's all a, repair and replace contract. The soffits and fascia on the building on the second floor are rotting out. There's been birds flying in and out. A lot of the railings up there are rotting and need to replace. The doors and I believe 8 windows need to be replaced. It's structural items that are failing over time that are just being renovated and replaced to upkeep of the.
Thank you. Questions from committee members?
So we're just, Stephen 5 this one. Just want to make sure that, clarify that we're just, making a motion to receive and file. Okay.
Yes, sir. But you still may have a question.
So I have a silly question. Maybe it's silly, maybe it's not. So if you are estimating that it's 77,000, they're coming back at 216, so if it's over 200,000, it has to be a part of the Racine Works program, correct?
Over 100.
Over, it's 100.
Yeah.
Okay, so then my question is, even if the bid's coming over 100,000, are we making sure they're part of the Racine Works program, or are we just kind of seeing where that's at? Because it's a weird cost, right? You know, it's gonna be 77 or 100 right in between there.
Wherever the bid comes in, the low bid, that's the number. So if it's 100,000 or more, it's a receipt. It's
And those folks would know that it would have to be a part of that program.
Right, they know
Okay.
if they're gonna submit a bid over 100,000, they need to be prepared for it. The way it used to be is that based on the engineer's estimate, we would bid it out as either a Racine Works or a not a Racine Works before the ordinance was revised.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now it's, if you put a number in, you gotta be prepared.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for that clarification.
Any further questions from committee members? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
I make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Motion by Alder Jarrett, second by Alder Sebastian to receive and file item 0574-24. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. The next item is 0570-24, communication sponsored by the chair. On behalf of Department of Parks, Recreation and Social Services, submitting final payment for contract 202-3224, Marquette Basketball Court, CDBG, Bradford Contractors LLC Contractors. Staff recommendation that the work completed by Bradford on contract 3224, Marquette Basketball Court, CDBG, be accepted and final payment authorized for a total contract amount of $183,018.30. Final payment to include retainage. Physical note, contract 202-3224 was authorized under resolution number 0766-23 on August 15th, 2023. Mr. Marshall.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This project has been done for quite a while. I think this last November, we were just waiting on seeing how the restoration took and all of that work, make sure all the grass and everything came up and was respectable, and we're quite happy with how it turned out right now, and everything looks great. So we're ready to close the books on this.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from committee members? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Perez, second by Alder Sebastian to approve item 0570-24. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion passes. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Marquez.
for your time.
Our next item is 0571-24, communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Department of Public Works, submitting change order number 1 to contract 2023162-2023 sidewalk replacement. Staff recommendation that change order number 1 for the sidewalk replacement be approved in the amount of $59,183.83. Funding for this change order is available in the following port objects: 4010457 sidewalks. Engineer Mullender.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As stated, we are submitting, change order number 1 and rectifying, for last year's sidewalk replacement project, in the amount of $59,183.83. Original contract was, approved in the amount of $226,618.20 under resolution number 0765-23 of August of last year. This change order will bring the contract total to $285,802.03. We recommend approval of this change order.
Questions from committee members? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second. Motion by Alder Rand, second by Alder Sebastian to approve item 0571-24. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Next item on our agenda is 0568-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Department of Public Works, submitting change order number 1 to contract 204052 Monument Square brick pavers replacement. Beasley Concrete LLC contractors. The change order, staff recommendation that change order number 1 for contract 2024052 Monument Square brick pavers replacement be approved in the deduct amount of $5,003.00. Funding for the change order is credited in the following. Port object is 45040 57500 DPW paving. Engineer Mulliner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As stated, we are submitting change order number 1 to the above contract and a deduct amount of $5,003. The original contract was approved in an amount of $98,287 under resolution number 0186-24 of March of this year. This change order brings the contract total to $93,284 even. We recommend approval.
So moved. Second. We see.
No.
Should we put that on the? There you go, that other 59,000.
Motion by Alder Sebastian, second by Alder Jarrett to approve item 0568-24. Seeing no further discussion on the item, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes. Okay. Our next item is 0567-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of Department of Public Works, submitting final repayment for contract 2024052 Monument Square Victory replacement. That just read this?
Yeah, you did a change order prior. This is your final payment.
Oh, okay. I was like the same thing I just read. Okay, excuse me. Monument Square brick pavers replacement. Staff recommendation that the work completed by Beardsley Concrete LLC on contract 2024052 Monument Square brick pavers replacement be accepted and final payment authorized for a total contract amount of $92,284. Final payment to include retainage. Fiscal note contract 2024052 was authorized under resolution number 0186-24 on March 9th, 2024. Engineer Mullender.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In an effort not to repeat everything that the chair just stated, we recommend approval of the final payment. This was not a Racine Works project that being a total of under $100,000.
Thank you.
So
Excuse me, Commissioner Rooney.
Just under our recommendation, we had a typo in there. It should be, we're recommending authorizing a total contract value of 93,284, so it's
Oh,
92,284, so. this is-
93,284?
Yes, in our staff recommendation, it's correct on the memo,
Okay,
and we'll make sure it's correct going to.
all right. Questions from committee members? Seeing none, a motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second. Moved by Oliver Perez, second by Alder Chair to approve item 0567-24. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Our next item is 0575-54, communications sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works to waive formal bidding for reconstruction floor and internal drainage of the solid waste building and allow the Assistant Commissioner to negotiate price with Absolute Construction Enterprises. Staff recommendation that the request of the Assistant Commissioner of Public Works Operations to waive formal bidding for the reconstructing the floor and internal drainage of solid waste building be approved. Fiscal note. Funding to defray the cost of these materials is available in Port Objects 45040 57-200 Central Heating Plant. Mr. Pitchlock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are requesting that formal bidding be waived for reconstructing the floor and internal drainage of the solid waste building. We discovered recently that there are voids underneath this particular, beneath the floor slab, and can no longer park our solid waste vehicles in the building. What we discovered is that there was a basement that they attempted to fill in, but didn't do the appropriate job of filling it in. So we have about a foot void underneath the concrete slab. And as a result, we need to do something fairly quickly to get this fixed. The building itself is a 1940s vintage grocery store. As buildings go, it's in pretty poor shape. In general, not even talking about the floor, but moving forward, what we'd like to do is we'd like to fix the internal drainage system and get it into the public sanitary sewer system, which is where it's supposed to go by code. Right now, it's just dumping into that basement and creating all kinds of problems. And we'd also like to remove the existing floor. We'll have to excavate about 2 feet of material to bring it out of there and bring in solid structural fill, followed by a 10-inch slab replacement for concrete. So getting back to why the waive formal bidding, if we were to go through a normal bid process, we would be getting into late fall, early winter for work. We cannot store these vehicles outside in wintertime. Can't happen. We can't store them loaded. There are times when we have to store vehicles loaded because a landfill might close due to wind or something. Who knows? We've had that happen on a number of occasions. We cannot store a solid or a full truck outside. Basically what happens is the garbage inside it will become an ice ball, and it will basically destroy the truck trying to remove it. So in an effort to be expedient and get a good price and get this work complete, we are requesting that this particular project be done at a waive formal bidding situation. Project budget is roughly $300,000. You might ask yourself, why do I have in the recommendation central heating plant? The reason for that is if you recall, when we took bids on the central heating plant, the bids came in at roughly 2-point-something million. We only had $800,000 in budget. We received and filed and never rebid the project. We have $800,000 that we can allocate to this particular project to get it done. We recommend approval. Any questions?
Alder.
Yeah, so, so the bid that we had tabled, you're gonna take money from that, I guess, category, sorry, if I'm saying it wrong, that category to pay for this, that is more, time, a time restraint. Is that, okay. So what's, is that going out to bid again, that central heating, plant, that, I remember it was like a boiler or something like that? Is that
Yeah,
like
we're actually going to, reduce the scope of the project,
Mhm.
and we'll probably come back with something in the capital budget next year. But as of right now, we have $800,000 that's gone unspent. And, we've got plenty of things to use it for. This just happens to be one of them.
Yeah, we can't have, as Assistant Commissioner stated, that the fleet can't sit outside, even if it's not full of cars, diesel equipment. You know, diesel gels in sub-freezing temperatures. These vehicles have to be out on their routes shortly after the employees show up for work to collect refuse. So again, this equipment has got to be stored indoors, heated storage. So unfortunately, it's not equipment that can sit outside at all.
And unfortunately, our equipment, while we're in this transition process, has really taken a beating too, because we're trucking out to Mosquito. Those trucks are not meant to drive highway mileage, they're meant to drive 40 feet, stop, pick up, drive 40 feet, stop, pick up. So, you know, that's another reason that to move this along.
Thank you. Alder, excuse me, Attorney Ledley.
I just wanted to say one thing. Ordinarily, as you know, contract in the scope would have to be bid out. It's a public works contract, $10,000, and you have to be done. There is an exception in the statute. I just want to read it so you understand. Wisconsin statute section 6215 sub 1 sub B. Bidding requirements are not mandatory for the repair and reconstruction of public facilities when damage or threatened damage thereto creates an emergency. So essentially, if you approve this to go out without formal bidding, you are determining this is an emergency situation that falls under that statute and permitting it to proceed without formal.
Okay, that was my other question, because I remember Commissioner Rooney had asked you like, why we couldn't just like, negotiate with some of these like Lalonde contractors or whatever. You said like legally we can't, we have to put it out to bid. And the lowest bidder, that's what we usually go with. So that was my next question, like, is there some kind of legal issue for the city? So you determine that this is more like an emergency situation, and that's why we're going to wait to bid it.
Correct.
Okay.
Any further questions from committee members? Thank you, Attorney Ledley. Seeing no further questions, motion is in order.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's motion by Alder Perez, second by Alder Jerry to approve item 0575-24. Seeing no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you so much. The next item is 0566-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the city engineer, submitting a three-part professional engineering service contract between the city of Racine, WSDOT, and Baxter Woodman, Inc. for state project ID 2703-0801 South Memorial Drive from Durand Avenue to 17th Street. Staff recommendation that the mayor and city clerk be authorized and directed to enter into a three-party professional engineering service agreement between the city of Racine, WSDOT, and Baxter Woodman, Inc. for state project ID 2703-08-01 South Memorial Drive from Durand Avenue to 17th Street in the not to exceed amount of $227,349.50, with the city's share being $45,469.90, and the state share being $181,879.60. Physical note funding is available in Order Optics 45040-57500 DPW KV. Engineer Mollinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Without repeating basically everything, this is just a design contract for South Memorial Drive. The limits are basically where the Durand Avenue project stopped on Memorial Drive to approximately just south of the gold medal lofts that were constructed or renovated, I want to say 2-3 years ago. This is a resurface project with some other amenities. We're going to reconstruct the west end of 21st Street with this project, redo the traffic signals at the Coven with this project, a couple other things, but we recommend approval of this design contract with the 3-party contract.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Questions from,
Yeah, Madam
excuse me,
Chair,
Commissioner Rooney?
excuse me, just in the staff recommends the memo, it says Strand Associates, it should be Baxter. So that was something that you're asking the memo is for.
Okay, on here, it's sort of actually, oh, you were saying that.
The memo.
The memo, okay. Thank you. Any further questions? Comments? If not, motion is in order.
So move. Second.
Motion by Alder Sebastian, second by Alder Berry to approve item 0566-24. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Our final item is 0576-24. Communication sponsored by the chair on behalf of the Commissioner of Public Works, submitting Sun Pump Program Phase 2. That recommendation to be approved. Fiscal note funding is available in order up to 40101-57560. Sanitary sewer surcharge. Commissioner Rooney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What I'm here tonight to do is to present to you what our new program for the sump pump program is going to look like moving forward, at least for now, based on some of the reasons I'll go through in this memo. We've had discussions with the city administrator, with the mayor regarding this. This is where we are at in an effort to keep this program going. So I'll read the memo, and after we get through it, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. In December 2023, Common Council approved contract 2023-278 with P&M Mechanical for the installation of 70 sump pumps for phase 1 of the sump pump program. As you know, part of the city's Racine's approved plan for reducing peak flow at the Racine wastewater treatment plant is to install approximately 2,000 sump pumps in the next 7 years. This work with other measures will ensure this reduction as required by the Racine Wastewater Utility Board of Commissioners. On April 30th, 2024, the contract for phase 2 was received and filed by this committee due to no bids being received. After checking with plumbing contractors, it appears that the process of pre-qualification and bonding is too large of an obstacle to bid on large public works projects. Based on this, and the fact that the city must work towards our peak flow reduction with sump pumps, we decided to pursue phase 2 in a different manner. Phase 2 will be a program initiated by the property owner. It is designed to minimize staff time and allows the property owner to simply apply for the sump pump program online or in person at the customer service department. The sump pump program is eligible for any property owner provided they do not have an existing sump pump, are not delinquent on property tax payments, and have no open neighborhood enforcement division orders for code violations. The sump pump program follows these basic steps. Number 1, you apply for the program through an online portal or in person at customer service. 2, the applicants are checked to see if they're eligible based on the criteria described above. Number 3, applicants are notified if eligible or not eligible, and if eligible, they get an application number and they can contact the plumber of their choice to inspect their property to see if the sump pump can physically be installed. Any inspection fee required by the plumber is the responsibility of the property owner, and it may be applied towards the payment by the city if the sump pump can be installed. If the sump pump cannot be installed, the property owner is responsible for any inspection fee required by a plumber. If the sump pump can be installed, the plumber gets the necessary permit, and the application number is then linked to a reservation number, which ensures that the plumber gets paid directly by the city after the installation has been approved by the building department. The plumber then submits the building department approval with the reservation number to the Department of Public Works for payment in munis. The maximum amount of payment to the plumber is $5,000 and include the cost for permits, inspection fees, sump pump, materials, and installation, and any electric work required by the building department. Any work needed that exceeds $5,000 will be a private transaction between the property owner and the plumber. Funding is available in Org Object 40101-57560 sanitary sewer surcharge. The program will be limited to the amount of funding made available annually in the budget approved by the Common Council. The committee agrees the appropriate action be authorized the Commissioner of Works to proceed with the sump pump program phase 2. What does all that mean? As I described, we are not getting bids anymore for the installation of sump pumps. The one contractor that did give us a bid last year has no more bonding capacity to even bid on the second project. Again, I think the whole issue of trying to bid out large quantities of sump pump installations is just not geared towards your local plumbing company. That said, we came up with a new program where this will really be owner initiated. And it's very simple. It really doesn't change anything from how they would want to get a sump pump put in if they decided to do this on their own 5 years ago. The process is already in place. What we are putting in place to make sure that there is some type of payment towards their plumber to encourage them to do this and reduce our inflow and infiltration of the plant is that they meet those certain requirements. These are the same requirements that were included in the phase 1 contract. We gathered a list of 70 properties that we screened. They didn't have back taxes. They didn't have code violations. They didn't have sump pumps. So it's the same thing, but individually, when you come in and ask to be part of this program, you'll get screened, whether you do it online or you go to customer service, and in a couple of days or a week, they'll get back to you and say, you're fine. Or those will say, hey, you should pay your property taxes and come back after that's taken care of, whatever the case may be. At that point, if they're cleared to go, they can contact the plumber of their choice. Some plumbers may come over and inspect their property for nothing. Some require a fee. It's not mandated by us. It's whatever the business is, their model is, some give free, inspections. When they have a plumber come over, look at it, say, yeah, I can put a sump pump in here. Sometimes they'll go over there and say, I can't put a sump pump in here because you have so much stuff down here. You need to clear it out, or there may be some nuanced issues with the way their house is plumbed or something. So they're going to determine whether they can get a sump pump in or not. This cleans up a whole host of issues that right now we're paying in a phase 1. We're paying like an inspection fee to the contractor to go through and vet these houses. So the contractor is going to immediately say, I can put a sump pump in or I can't. If the contractor says yes, they'll come down with that application number, and that will then be converted to a reservation number. So that means the plumber is going to get financially compensated for the work. We are going to pay up to $5,000. We believe this is a fair price based on the bids that we had in phase 1. The cost of the sump pumps were $4,500 or so each. We figure this would cover that, any inspection fees, any other ancillary fees. If there's any additional work that they want over and above that, for some reason, this sump pump costs more than that, that is a private transaction between the property owner and the plumber. We will pay up to $5,000. We feel that number is very good based on the bid that we received and some of the information that we gathered. We're not going to say you're going to pay up to $10,000. That's not necessary. you know, if we wanted to skinny this thing down and say we're only gonna pay up the first $3,000. We believe that the price will come in higher than that, and I don't think we're gonna get much participation. So we believe this is a pretty fair number. Well, 99% of the invoices come into the city at $4,999.99. Probably, should we really be concerned about that? I don't think so. A pathway to meeting we have to reduce our inflow and infiltration at the treatment plant by over 56 million gallons a day. And we're counting on getting in about 2,000 sump pumps, but we get credit on a per volume flow rate basis for every sump pump we put in. That got approved by the wastewater commission last October. So every time we put a sump pump in, knock a little bit that total. So we think it's a good value. We think the number is fair. It'll be a pretty simple process. The plumbing inspector will, when the work's done, they'll go over there and say, okay, is it installed properly? They're gonna inspect it just like they would for any other plumbing permit. You know, do they need to put a GFCI outlet in? Do they need to do the sump pump installation properly? That is all done. If it's not done, the plumbing inspector says, I'm not approving it. Put it in correctly or change this or that. I'll come back. When they do that, plumbing inspector will, when they do approve it, then that approved plumbing permit, if the work was done properly, will then be used with and attached to the invoice with the reservation number that'll be sent to the Public Works Department. We will just simply process it through our financial software Munis. There's no extra work for the accountants or anything like that. So we went through this. We came up, what I attached for you is a flow chart that we've been working through, that we finally got our processes down, how this would work. We converted then that flow chart into basically a flyer that's not quite, this is more kind of technical engineer geeky flow chart for our own processes. We reduced that to more of a brochure, and that flow chart is kind of summarized here what the program is. This is what we will start getting out if Committee and Common Council approves this phase 2 plan. We will start getting out on our website, getting this out through social media, and we'll start taking people. I would love to start taking applications from residents as soon as next month. If the bottom line is the committee and council have to approve this program, approve the $5,000 max payment, and then we pretty much have everything in place to get this out on the street, so to speak, for residents to start consuming this information and start doing it. We will then essentially permit X number of applications up to the amount we have budgeted. So let's just say, I'm gonna make up a number, right? Say we have up to, we have $500,000, 5,000. When we get to 100, we will then say the applications, you have to wait until 2025 to get in the queue. We can continue to take applications because some people may get an application and they may not bother going to call a plumber. So if they do that, that's on them. And we'll take applications. When we'll cap it for the year is when we've given out 100 reservations. Then we'll say that's the amount of funding Common Council has approved towards this. And then the whole program will become available on January 1. You can get right back in the program. And again, based on the amount we're funding, and if Common Council wants to fund more sump pumps next year, more money in the program. So, and that's how we'll do that. So we think this is a good process. We need to give it a chance to see how it works. We're pretty confident it's going to work this way. If it doesn't, we have to come up with another strategy because phase 1 worked for phase 1. It's no longer working now. So I brought this to you tonight to get some concurrence so we can move this forward. I've got to appear before the wastewater commission annually from now on until I retire. Probably somebody will do it in my place because this will be going on for many years to come. We have to report on progress every day to the wastewater utility commission about how many sump pumps we've installed, how many other measures of effectiveness that they have approved, lateral repairs, manhole repairs, sewer repairs, all these things that we do and fix, we're getting credit for in our II reduction. So I'd like to be able to go to the commission and say, yeah, we got phase one going and we gotta go to a different program and we're getting X number of done on an individual basis. Make sure that we're demonstrating to the wastewater utility that we are doing everything we can to reduce II. And we just didn't throw our hands up and say, we got no bids the second bid, so we're not doing any this year. We need to make progress. We need to get some pumps in to achieve our goals. So with that, I'll open up to any questions that the committee has.
Alder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just for everybody else listening out there, so we already had money that was allocated for this program in the last budget.
Yeah, in 2024.
Correct.
Yes, the money for the one we did, that was 2023 monies for this phase one. Yeah.
And I remember when we had tabled this because we didn't get any bids, that there are already people who applied for this program.
Correct.
So are they already in queue? So like if this gets approved tonight and through the common council, so will they be like the first set of people that will be able to be in phase two?
That is a fantastic question, and it reminded me that I was supposed to mention that. So yes, if this gets approved, we are going to, because we had to send emails out and contact all of those folks who were on phase two and said, you didn't get any bids, so you're not getting a sump pump. Well, we said, stand by, or we're going to try to do something different. So what we are going to do, Alder Jarrett, before we open this up to this online portal or open it up at the front counter customer service, we're going to reach out to these people first who are next in line and say, do you want to get a sump pump? You just do it on your own. And if they say yes, we're going to give them a finite amount of time, and we have another meeting, I think this Thursday or next, with the group that's doing this. We're going to figure out an appropriate amount of time to say, okay, we're going to give them 3 or 4 weeks. And then at that point, you've had your chance, so then we're going to open it up. But we're going to definitely give those property owners who are on the bid for phase two, who didn't get anything, first crack at this. So that's a great question. Thank you for reminding me. I should have brought that up.
Oh, one more question, one follow-up. So the sump pumps with the 5,000 up to 5,000, that includes, is the sump pump being provided by the city, or is it the plumber will have they have like up to 5,000 and 500,000, 5,000, and so the plumber will be providing that sump pump and the work?
Yeah, so basically it's like they're hiring the contractor of their choice, the plumber of their choice to do it. And they may, in their individual situation, let's say their home is a little more complicated than your neighbor's home. They may get, 3 estimates where one's, 5,000, one's 5,300, and one's, so it's going to behoove them to go ahead and do that. That money that they get can be used to pay for any costs that are associated with that work. So the building department's being made whole. There's inspection, there's permit fees that are required. Part of this money can be used to pay the permit fee. That's how the building department makes their budget. It's based, on fees that they generate. So they can be used towards permit fees. And obviously it's for materials that has to be purchased by the plumber. It could be if the plumber needs to hire XYZ electrical sub because there's not an electrical outlet that's GFCI located nearby. They got one over there. They can use it for anything up to $5,000. That's the pump. That's to break out the floor, to put the crock in. That's connect the crock to a piping system that takes it and ejects it outside the building. Gets the foundation drained into the sump crock. So it's all that work. $5,000 should be more than enough to cover, my guess, well over 90+% of these installations.
Alder Sebastian.
So one of the apprehensions that I had, and I'm sure that you've already thought about it, so we have any old plumber. So obviously they have to be licensed, which we all know, I'm sure that there's gonna be some sort of making sure that these plumbers are licensed, instead of Joe Schmo's cousin coming in and doing the plumbing work and then submitting an invoice. Is that something, or is it just?
It is not changed at all from the way people get plumbing permits now.
Okay.
Nick Riccardi is your plumbing inspector. He works for Dan, the chief
Building inspector director.
chief building inspector,
I was gonna
all the
say,
requirements that they require to do this type of work, we're not changing at all.
Mhm.
We are not changing that. Whatever they require to have this work done, the credentials, what needs to be provided to them to approve it, we're not touching that at all. So we're not changing a thing. So, yeah.
So another follow-up question to that, and, you know, and as we look at the change orders, so, okay, so-and-so is a plumber, they give an estimate, la da da da. These things happen, and now it's way, you know, now it costs way more. Now resident A is upset because they didn't realize it was gonna cost more, and then they, you know, we're only getting, you know, invoiced, you know, reimbursed the $5,000. Is that?
Well, they're not getting reimbursed, we're direct paying the guy.
Right, yeah, what I said, the reinvoice, the invoice of the plumber.
Yep.
So the plumber fee, so now all of a sudden, they're like, well, this happened, now I'm upset because I have to pay this extra A, B, C, D, and E money, which they should understand, but I think one thing that we know, in general, these things happen and people will be upset about that. So I'm just thinking about folks calling the city and being like, well, we thought this was gonna happen and the plumber did this and this happened, so what are you gonna do now? Obviously, it's very laid out, but like, what type of contracts or anything like that would be in place that we avoid or protect ourselves? I mean, no one's gonna come after, but I'm just saying, like, protect ourselves from people and would be like, well, you signed the contract, this is what you get, it's $5,000, go.
Yeah, there's no contract that will be signed between the city and the plumber. It's simply more or less a voucher, if you will, that can be redeemed with a reservation number to pay for this amount. Now, I think that the property owner, the property owners have to do a little bit of the heavy lifting here.
Right.
And they have to, you know, get some quotes and understand who they're working with. And I think that's part of the responsibility of being a homeowner, a property owner. So, and I think the plumbers, when they see this program roll, they're gonna understand what it is we're trying to do. We believe, like I said, is there gonna be a circumstance where they run into a real mess there? Yeah, there's always risk with this type of stuff. This is something that I think is a good starting place. If for some reason our compass isn't pointing north, and it turns out these sump pumps are averaging, I'm just gonna make a number up, $6,000. Maybe the Common Council would like to consider $5,000 reimbursement, you know, or $6,000 payment instead of a $5,000. Because again, we don't want this to become a financial burden for the property owner to participate. Based on the bids that we got, we think there's adequate cushion here at $5,000 to cover. The sump pumps that we wound up doing in phase one, I believe, are just around $4,300. We're essentially adding another. This is a contractor who puts in sump pumps, you know, and that included the inspection fee to go down there and do that. That included an electrical connection if there wasn't one there. So we think the number is there. Yes, it could happen. I think we're gonna have to obviously make sure that we're very clear that this is a maximum amount. And anything above that, it's gonna be between you and the person that you hire to do the work. We're only paying $5,000. And you know, I guess if we'll learn as we go, and we can adjust as we go. But I think this is a good starting spot. I don't think we need to be offering $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. I think they're going to come in with estimates to reflect getting the full reimbursement for that. We think $5,000.
I guess it's the clarity to the residents.
Yeah,
I said that.
and that'll be
That's what
part
I'm
of-
confused about, or not confused about it, just I don't want them to be confused. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's $5,000, you know, sometimes that can get lost in translation for people. Well, I thought I'm just getting a sub pump. No, they're
Yeah.
getting $5,000 towards a sub.
And to your point, that's why we're also gonna be looping in, you know, Sean Ryan, our communications director in, and some of the interns he has worked with as well to help get this out through the various social media, you know, city's website. This is what the program is, this is what it does, this is what it is not, and what it does not do, and make sure everybody understands that. And hopefully they will participate.
That's my only concern is the community. I'm sure the communication piece, but I know sometimes people only half listen. So just be, but it's true, you know, it's human nature, but just to be forward.
Yeah, your point's well taken.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rooney, did we vet the plumbers at all to see what their price would be for installing sun pumps? Did you vet any of them in Racine to see if their price would go higher than the 5?
Well, we did do a lot of checking when we put together the estimates for phase one. So we did a lot of investigation with plumbers. And that's what we came up with, that budget, which the thing came in at. So we think the number is right based on, we're just putting, we could put in $4,300 or whatever the bid was, phase one. You know, it's going on a year later, price of things are going up. Yes, did we vet it? Absolutely. Can I guarantee that that number is going to perfectly match?
No.
Believe me, the folks on this side of the table, we're not in cahoots to make plumbers rich off this program. What we're really interested in doing is making sure we meet the requirements of the Board of Wastewater Utility Commissioners. Whether you know it or not, the ramifications for not getting your peak flow down in that sewer agreement are very serious. I mean, you're talking sewer moratoriums, no more sewer extensions, no more sewer connections. This is so important for putting up new development here. You know, if you get to a point where you demonstrate to the wastewater utility, you're not lifting your end of the bargain up, they can say, well, no more connections for you. So as long as we're operating in good faith, they're giving us 7 years to accomplish this. You know, we can't wait to the 7th year to get it done either. That would, you know, be financially almost impossible as well. This program, manholes, laterals, sewer repairs, sump pumps, this is about $10 million we're gonna be spending plus 7 years. So we can't wait to the end and try to fit it all in there. So we're gonna keep chipping at it every year.
Yeah, I know there are a couple of people in my district who will be interested in, because they got flooded on that 100-year flood we had. So I know just even 5,000, they will be applying for this because it will help. And we have another flooding situation like that, if we have another situation like that.
Yeah, that's a great comment. We've talked about in our internal meetings, for those who've had chronic basement backups, even if they have to wind up paying an extra $500 out of pocket, it's the best $500 they spend. They won't have to replace their water heater or their furnace or their flooring, washer dryer, appliances and what have you. So, yeah.
Thank you. Alder Perez, did you have a question?
No, ma'am, thank you.
You're welcome. Any further questions? And a motion in order. Motion by Alder Jarrett, second by Alder Sebastian to approve item 0576-24. Seeing no further questions, comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the motion passes. And that concludes our agenda for this afternoon. Thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon.
Bye, Perez, safe travels.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday, Corey.
Yay.
Is it your birthday today?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
29 again?
Oh, I know.
Every year is a happy birthday for me, because I'm that much. Take care, all the rest.
Good day, sir.
I was hoping I could have 2 birthdays a year for you.
You know, they won't count that towards Wisconsin.
Damn it.
Maybe one birthday every 365 days.
So cute.
Oh, thank
Hey, Ron,
you.
I gotta